All right, so let's get right into it. The Merc with a Mouth is now in VR. But is it any good? That's the big question, right? Does this new Deadpool game actually give us that awesome, fourth-wall-breaking chaos we're all hoping for? Or is it, just going to be maximum annoyance? We're going to dig into the reviews and find out if this thing is actually worth your cash.
And, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Murdering ninjas. To Enya. Yep. This is definitely not your typical superhero game. It is weird, it is super violent, and it's got this totally bizarre sense of humor. That's what we expect from Deadpool, and it sounds like this game goes all in.
So up first, the Merc with a headset. And before we even touch the swords and guns, we gotta talk about what it's like to actually, be inside Wade Wilson's head. Because this game is aiming for more than just playing as Deadpool. It wants you to feel like you are him.
The whole point is to just throw you right in. We're talking nonstop action, that constant chatter in your ear, and jokes that don't just break the fourth wall, they completely obliterate it. The word is that this game really, truly makes you feel like you're trapped inside his crazy, pop culture-addled brain.
And a huge part of that feeling comes down to the voice cast. Okay, so Ryan Reynolds isn't in this one. But we get Neil Patrick Harris as Deadpool, and apparently he is absolutely perfect for the role. Plus, just look at the rest of this cast. This is some serious talent. It really turns it from just another game into like a full-blown interactive comedy.
Okay, on to the good stuff. Maximum effort gameplay. The awesome. And let me tell you, this is where the game apparently just knocks it out of the park. The consensus is that when it comes to the action, the developers really went for it.
So here's the breakdown of how you cause all that mayhem. And it's not just, point and shoot. You're physically dual-wielding guns and swords. You can grapple enemies, pull them in for these awesome slow-mo kills. And the finishing moves are supposed to be hilarious and super gruesome. Oh, and yeah, you can get your limbs chopped off and literally just stick them back on. How cool is that?
See, it's not just combat, it's Deadpool's combat. And it's these little touches that make all the difference. Get this, when an enemy drops a gun, it doesn't just fall. It hangs in the air for a second, so you can snatch it in this epic slow-motion moment. And your healing factor? It's not just a health bar filling up, it's an actual thing you do in the game. It's all these little details that make it feel so authentically Deadpool.
And it just keeps getting crazier. You start unlocking all this insane stuff. We're talking a blinged-out knockoff version of Thor's hammer, explosive cards, kind of like Gambit. There are these rampage modes set to amazing music. Yep, like the Enya song. And the replay value sounds pretty massive, because you can go back and play levels as 4 different versions of Deadpool, and each one has totally new dialogue.
But, beyond all the shooting and slicing, the script itself is a huge highlight. The writing hits far more often than it misses. Deadpool just never shuts up, and it's all packed with smart references to other games, like Baldur's Gate 3 even, and tons of pop culture jokes. It's basically the fuel that powers the whole personality of the game.
And honestly, this quote just nails it. If Deadpool VR doesn't have you literally laughing out loud, you might want to check you have a pulse. Wow. It sounds like the humor is so good, it's not just a bonus, it's a fundamental part of why the game works. It's the glue holding this whole beautiful, chaotic mess together.
All right, but it can't all be perfect, right? Every hero needs a break. So let's talk about the annoying parts. The stuff that might make you want to take a chimichanga break. Because even the Merc with the Mouth has his off days. For as great as the combat and the writing are, the reviews were pretty clear that the game does kind of stumble in a couple of important places. And these are the things that might just pull you out of all that fun.
So here are the common criticisms, all laid out. First up, the late game gets a bit repetitive. One review mentioned being forced to play through like 10 extra arena levels that just felt like filler. Then there are the visuals. The environments, specifically, are described as looking pretty dated. One person even said they looked like they're from the GameCube era. Ouch. And finally, something both reviews agreed on, the enemies are kind of boring. Just generic bad guys when we all would have loved to see some big-name Marvel villains show up.
So what we've got here is a pretty classic trade-off, right? Graphics versus gameplay. Look, to get this kind of crazy, fast-paced action running on a standalone VR headset, you're going to have to make some compromises on the graphics. That's just how it is. But the good news is, the gameplay is apparently so fun and so over the top that you'll probably be too busy having a blast to even notice that the hallways look a little dull.
Okay, so, the final verdict. We've looked at the awesome stuff, we've looked at the annoying stuff. Where does that leave us? What's the bottom line here?
This is pretty amazing, actually. Despite nitpicking slightly different things, both reviews landed on the exact same score, an 8 out of 10.
When you see two different places come to the same conclusion like that, it really tells you something.
So here's the takeaway. This game is a must-buy for fans, and it's a total riot for newcomers. It just gets Deadpool. The humor, the crazy violence, the constant fourth wall breaking, it's all there, and it uses VR to make it all happen. If you're a Deadpool fan, this sounds like a no-brainer. And even if you're not, if you just want a wild action comedy, you're going to have an absolute blast, as long as you can look past those technical flaws.
And that kind of leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? So is a game's hilarious spirit enough to forgive its flaws? I mean, in a world where we're all obsessed with perfect graphics and huge maps, can a game just win you over with pure personality? It seems like for Deadpool VR, the answer is a big, loud yes. But hey, in the end, that's a call you're going to have to make for yourself.